Hi, I'm Suze Shaner with Sage Leadership Strategies, and I'm your host today of Community Forum. And I have the great pleasure to have with me Joni Lowe, who is a vibrant person with Parkinson's disease, and her son, Sequoia Lowe, who is a digital media expert. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey, thanks so much for having us, Suze.
Thanks for coming on the show. And so just to let our guests know, we're going to talk about I'll call it a public service announcement that Sequoia produced with Joni and her friend starring in it. And we're going to, Heather. And it's on what it's like to live with Parkinson's. But it features Joni and Heather as, we'll say, sort of rap artists. So before we're going to show you the clip, but before we do, Sequoia, can you share with our guests, how did you first come up with the idea for the show?
Sure. So it started years ago at our family dinner table. My mom is not a huge fan of rap music, so I thought it would be really funny if she was a rapper. So I told her, Mom, you should be a rap star. You should record a rap song. And I'm going to college for media production, so I'll make you a rap video. And she was like, no, that's silly. And I kept this up. And then a few months later, I thought of a name for her rapper name. So while I was just doing this at the dinner table, I was like, yeah, Mom, you got to be a rapper. It's going to be awesome. I was like, hey, I got your rapper name. It's going to be Slim Shaky. And of course, that's Eminem's alter ego, Slim Shady, crossed over with the fact that people with Parkinson's disease often shake. So you got Slim Shaky. And we all thought that was really funny in my family. So
that is a very creative name in so many ways. So Joni, what did you think as this idea was unfolding?
I mean, it's been unfolding for years. I mean, it started originally when he was like early teens, maybe, or a little younger. So I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. But when he started talking about doing that for his senior project, I was like, okay, here we go. So that's when I was on board fully.
Well, in Slim Shaky, I mean, so you're a good sport about that. And so Sequoia, obviously you've been living with your mom with this disease for 10 years now, right? So how did that kind of coming up with that term, and how did all that kind of play out as far as you were concerned? And this was your senior project in college, right?
Yeah, that's right. So as far as my senior project is concerned, I was in Western Connecticut State University's Digital and Interactive Media Arts program. And I had an awesome professor who said that our senior project could basically be anything we wanted relating to digital media. So I had a pass there to do whatever I wanted. And as for my experience of my mom with Parkinson's disease, when she was diagnosed, I was in my early teen years, and the disease hadn't progressed very far yet. So it honestly didn't affect my life that much. I cared about my mom a lot, and I checked in to make sure that she was okay. But as far as I could tell, as a young teenager, she was still doing all the things she liked to do and participating in her life, and everything was fine. But since then, the disease has progressed, and it has changed my mom and what she can do and what she can't do in some concerning ways. And so with Slim Shaky, I wanted to strike a delicate balance. I wanted to find a way to communicate that struggle with Parkinson's disease in a way that is still genuinely uplifting and inspiring.
So this is a great honor to your mom, as well as those who are struggling with the disease. So we're going to talk about both aspects, the video that you produced, and then Joni will talk more about what it's been like to live with Parkinson's. But before we do, Sequoia, just take us through a little bit about how the video came to be, how you found Heather, and how you worked it production-wise, because you're on the East Coast and Heather's on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right. So there are lots of Parkinson's communities online, of course, and my mom is very involved in them. And through those communities, she met Heather Kennedy, who is an awesome, very accomplished Parkinson's advocate in media. She does public speaking and keynotes, and she does acting and anything relating to digital media in the online Parkinson's world. that's Heather. So my mom was like, wait a second, for the Slim Shaky thing, you might want to talk to my friend Heather and see if she's interested. And so I talked to her and explained it, and she was so on board. She thought it sounded like a blast. And turns out it was a blast to have her. I think we all enjoyed the process a lot. And then, as you said, it was a big struggle because she lives in California, whereas my mom and I are here in Connecticut. So what I did to bridge that gap is I used an online recording and streaming tool that allowed me to have just a video call going with her, kind of like what we have going on right now. But instead of being limited by the speed at which the internet could stream her audio data, it was also recording it to her hard drive in real time. And then at the end, it uploaded the maximum quality lossless audio file to the cloud so that I could access it and use that. So we had to get creative and use some fun technical solutions. I think finding creative technical solutions is fun. So that was a cool part of it for me. And then as for the filming, I just left her to do her thing. A lot of it was filmed on her iPhone, and she did an awesome job of it.
Okay, so Dave, we actually want to show the clip. So can you roll the clip and then we'll talk about it afterwards?
Call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up when you underestimate me. So call me Shaky, Slim. If we're talking perseverance, count me in.
So call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up even when I feel achy. So call me Shaky, Slim. I say this isn't the end, this is where it begins.
Call me Slim Shaky cause I say what I mean. Yo, my pains kept me up since like 4:15. Every night I tell myself I'm gonna sleep well. I hope, then I lay myself down. My body says nope. When I walk with my friends, they have to slow down and wait. Cause you know I shuffle with that Parkinsonian gait. Sometimes it takes an hour just to get my pants and shoes to fit. So go ahead and ask me if I'm drunk. I'm used to it. Every hour's like rolling the dice. No clue if my body's gonna treat me nice. It's just me and the meds that are helping me out. Just trying to stay afloat in a dopamine drought. It's like I'm cold, then I'm hot, then I'm slow, then I'm not. But I don't let it stop all the hope that I got. And I keep moving forward. Every day you're gonna hear it. Cause there's no way to break this unshakable spirit.
Call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up when you underestimate me. So call me Shaky, Slim. If we're talking perseverance, count me in.
So call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up even when I feel achy. So call me Shaky, Slim. I say this isn't the end, this is where it begins.
Call me Slim Shaky cause they don't know who I am. But I'm tired of always drawing all these lines in the sand. Like, I can't juggle, I can't rap, I can't box. Yeah, it's a struggle, but sit down and watch. I was only 44 when Parkinson said hello. I said degenerative illness, yo, I didn't get the memo. Say it keeps getting worse, and so you can't even eat. Try me, buddy, I got grandkids to meet. I'm a robot, that's right, there's a machine in my chest. It was supposed to make me better, but it's okay at best. I do everything, exercise, eat good meals. Don't even know if I could walk without a million pills. I ask myself, what is this illness telling me? I gave her a name, I call her Penelope. Used to dance fast, now I dance a little slower. She thinks she can stop me, well damn, I'm gonna show her. Penelope, is that you?
Yes.
Why are you here? Why are you doing this to me?
Why are you doing this to me?
What are you here to teach me?
I will change your body and your mind, but your spirit is unshakable. Love yourself for everything you can do and make your life as big and intense and wonderful as you can. It's that simple. It's not brain surgery. My bad.
Call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up when you underestimate me. So call me Shaky, Slim. If we're talking perseverance, count me in.
So call me Slim, Shaky. I stand up even when I feel achy. So call me Shaky, Slim. I say this isn't the end, this is where it begins.
Yo, out here.
So such a powerful video. And Joni, your daughter Daisy played Penelope, and
Yes.
your husband Rob, Sequoia's father, also was involved. So this was really a family affair. Sequoia, how you did the writing of this? How did that come to be?
Yeah. So creating a music video like this, it's essentially storytelling, but it's not my story. It's my mom's story. It's Heather's story. And so it was very important to me that I spoke with each of them about their experiences with Parkinson's disease. So I did that, and I took detailed notes. And then from the notes of my mom's experience, I wrote a verse for her. From my notes on Heather's experience, I wrote a verse for her. And then I checked and made sure that it was authentic and an accurate reflection of their experiences. So that's how I made sure that we were accurately reflecting their individual Parkinson's experience, because it is different for everyone. And so I think what we have now is a real, genuine reflection of their experiences, their struggles, and their successes in dealing with Parkinson's.
And thank you. And Joni, what was this like for you to really share, as Sequoia is saying, your vulnerabilities and struggles and your successes with very real life, day-to-day navigating this disease?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, as my son, of course, he notices a lot of what's going on with me. We spend time together. But some things he didn't know about, like my expressing to him, will I be able to hold my grandbabies? You know, I think that was new to him, but that's in my mind. I mean, I don't know if I'll have grandbabies. There's no pressure there. But, you know, I just, you know, will they have to bring a baby to me while I sit on the couch? Will I be able to walk around and hold a baby? Will I, you know, I don't know, but that's lingering. And he got that. He captured that. He's put, I got grandkids to meet. And I was just pleased that he captured that in that way. He did a good job.
Yeah, while we're here, I do want to come back a little bit in terms of the video itself. It's on the Michael J. Fox Foundation site with an opportunity for people to donate for research, and we'll put that, you know, in a link for people. Sequoia, I know you have a strong focus on creating other kinds of digital media on causes. Is there anything you want to say in terms of where you want your work to go, or what advice you would give people who want to raise people's awareness of causes like this?
Yeah, digital media has been something that's fascinated me for a long time now. And it's only within the past few years that personally my focus has shifted towards considering how I can help to address some of the big problems that I see in the world. And so Slim Shaky for me personally has been an incredible opportunity to bring those two ideas together. And I'm looking forward to continuing to do that in the future. In what sorts of ways, I can't even begin to imagine right now. But as far as advice for others, if anyone's watching, if they're anything like me, they might be getting stuck on wondering what's the most effective way that they can make a difference. Which problem should they start with? How should they try to solve the problem? And that's something that I still think about all the time, probably too much. But the best advice I can give for that is to look at what you like, what you're good at, and also what advantages or opportunities you already have based on the things that are around you right now, or which causes are most near and dear to your heart. My mom has Parkinson's disease, and that is a very real thing that immediately impacts her life and mine. And so working with her and my family on something that's special to us, I think was a wonderful way for me to create that impact without having to solve that unsolvable problem of like, what's the best way to make a difference.
Well, and obviously this is such a personal cause for you. So thank you. And Joni, I know you were diagnosed with what's called young onset Parkinson's, as you mentioned in the video, at 44. What was that like for you when you first got the news?
Well, I went to a neurologist because I was shaking my left hand a little bit. And she was unsure. She said, I think you have it. She insisted I get a second opinion. And so I got a second opinion. And actually, when I was in the hallway into the exam room, I said to myself, I shake. That's my experience. I shake. And whatever they tell me in there in that exam room, when I leave, it's still going to be my experience that I shake. So, and I think that was very helpful. It just set me up to hear whatever it was I was going to hear. And I ended up being diagnosed, confirmed. I met with a movement disorder specialist, neurologist, and she said, I had Parkinson's, and I didn't know all the research and everything yet. I didn't know what it really was. And so I was dealing with the shaking, and I didn't jump in and learn lots of information. I didn't go online and learn a lot. I just wanted to take it as it was. Then a little at a time, I started doing research, and the pictures and the examples were old men with walkers. I'm like, that's not me. That's so not me. I'm not represented in this stuff. So as time has passed, I've gotten involved with some women's groups with women who have Parkinson's disease. It's a different experience, but it's been helpful. And, I just take one day at a time.
Well, I can only imagine, because did you still have your studio when you were diagnosed? So for those that are familiar, I mean, Joni was a dancer, and you had a dance and movement studio, and you were a small business owner.
Yes, I was. I sold it a couple of years before I was diagnosed.
Okay. And so you're saying that, you didn't see people in the research that look like you. And so as you started to grapple with this diagnosis, how did you find these support groups for women? Like, how did you discover different supports and resources to help you navigate this new way of being?
Right. Actually, in the beginning, I didn't want to go to any support groups because I was afraid of what I was going to see. What does my future look like? So I like to go to young onset or early onset. It's called Parkinson's, so that I can see young people like me and not just see the doom and gloom of what may probably be for me at some point. So that was my first thing. I didn't like to go to them. I didn't go to them often at all. But then as time wore on, and especially during COVID, I got online. And one of my favorite ones is Dr. Leader in New York City. She's a neurologist, and she has a support group for women who have Parkinson's. And it's really helpful. Like, one of the women said, I can't do anything the week before my menstruation. And I was like, that's what it is. Because I had been more emotional the week before. I had been.
So Joni, so it's sort of, and it's Dr. Leader, Leider. Is that what it is?
Leder.
Leder. Okay. So you're saying maybe does it exacerbate some of the menstruation symptoms? Sorry, Sequoia.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been my experience, and it's been other experiences of other women. So they're starting to do more research on women, especially young women, because this is fairly new. I don't know what the numbers are, but there's more pictures of us now in the.
Because initially a lot of the research was just focused on men. Now you're saying more research on women and young women, as well as, can you speak to not only the menstruation in terms of the exacerbation of symptoms, but menopausal women?
Right. Yeah. So my age group is being tracked. I'm being part of a beta of a product. Actually, I should get the link today to track. Well, I'll be tracking my menstruation and my moods and my medication intake and things like that. So it's just the very beginning of the product. And so see what happens. There's so many variables. And I remember in the beginning, I wanted to create a big Excel spreadsheet and say, this is what I ate. This is how much sleep I got. This is when I woke up. The weather was cloudy, all these different aspects, and then see how much I shook that day. And my doctor's like, no, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Like, there's no rhyme or reason, according to her, as to what happens in any given day.
Well,
But
Joni, are you okay with sharing about the DBS, the deep brain stimulation surgery that you elected to have? Can you speak to that in terms of what went into your decision to have that and what your experience is with that?
Sure. My neurologist suggested it when I was exhibiting dyskinesia, which is not tremoring. That tremoring is really small, like this on my right hand, and dyskinesia is more like this. I wouldn't be able to stay still. It's bigger movements. And so she mentioned that maybe now it's time for DBS. And I was like, oh, and I wasn't scared of it. Like, my husband said the first time, he's like, once you make a decision, stick to your decision. And that was so helpful. And so the deep brain stimulation is, I've got 2 leads. I've got holes in the top of my head. They put 2 leads in, and it comes down on the right side of my neck. There's like a bump behind my ear because that's bunching up of the leads. And it comes down my neck, and then it goes into a battery pack, which is here. It's kind of big, but I don't let it faze me. It doesn't impact me. I'll wear tank tops and bathing suits and whatever, and it's just a part of me now. And so in the beginning, I didn't think it was working well at all. And I was disappointed.
Joni, why? First of all, thank you. And for our viewers, we talked ahead of time about what Joni was willing to share and not share. So thank you for being so open and vulnerable with everyone and really sharing your journey. Yes. And so you said at the beginning it wasn't working well. Like, how did it manifest, and why were you feeling like, I don't know if this really worked?
Yeah, like, I knew some people at a support group meeting. I saw someone once, he had the DBS surgery, and he could turn it on and off, and you can see a change instantly. And I was like, that's not happening for me. Also, they say that you can probably go off your medications, or there's a possibility that you can lower your medications, not go off of them. I was hoping I could go off of them, but it turned out that my medications actually increased, and that pissed me off.
Oh, why is that? That's curious.
Yeah, like, they said probably you can lower your dosage, but maybe not. And I took that as, I'm going to lower my dosages and maybe I can get off. So needed to manage my own expectations correctly. So I understood that, after the fact. So I was okay that I didn't go off my meds, but I was pissed that I increased my meds. And I'm still at that high rate, but the DBS actually gets programmed. You meet with your neurologist, and my doctor is a she programs it. She actually sits with a tablet in her hand, and it's attached, it's talking to the battery, which is attached to, what's going on in my head.
Isn't that wild? Like, don't you feel like this is incredible with this technology that wasn't available as recently as a few years ago, that here we are with this technology that you're being programmed? I mean, what does that feel like for you?
It feels like I'm Frankenstein, to be honest, because one time I was getting it done and my hand was like moving, like it was being twisted, like it hurt.
Oh no.
And like, because they're making adjustments and seeing how my body responds.
And when you're like, wow, look what's happening.
Yeah, my feet would just go like slide on the floor to go towards each other. And it's not me doing that. It's them making, changes in the programming. So yeah, that was a really upsetting appointment that day. But now it seems like it's currently, what should I say? It's like the oil on the tin man, sorry. Yeah. It helps everything, but you can't see a difference if I turn it off or on. It's helping me out though, to smooth around the edges. I
So
would say.
are you glad that you did this? Do you feel like it's making a difference for you? Because obviously it sounds like it's different for everybody.
Yes, it's very different for everyone. And I had to go through like a neuropsych test. I had to make sure that I would respond to the golden standard of medication, carbidopa, levodopa, because these are all factors that go into a successful surgery. So I'm glad I have it. I handled the surgery like a superstar. There's actually 2 surgeries. One is for the leads and then another one for the battery, like 10 days later. And I'm pleased with it, but I'm still a little disappointed that I think it could have been better. You know,
Yeah.
and especially in a shorter amount of time. I got the DBS 3 years ago, and it's just like now that we're getting
Yeah.
it right.
Well, I mean, the technology is probably going to continue to evolve, and I've known you for at least 20 years. I don't know who's counting.
Yeah.
But one thing I know about you is you've always been a very positive, optimistic person.
Yes.
How being real, how do you navigate your natural, probably more optimistic and positive than the average person, with the very real challenges of living with this day to day? And we've got 1 minute. I know I hate to end on this note, but like what advice would you give someone in terms of navigating life with this very real disease?
I would say take one day at a time. Don't count on the doom and gloom, which may be ahead. You may not experience everything that someone else has. You may experience something different than someone else. And reach out to support groups. I think they're helpful. There's a lot available virtually due to COVID. And don't be afraid to go to your first one in person. And
Okay,
that's what I would say.
Joni and Sequoia, thank you both for coming on the show. If anyone was interested in either Joni reaching out to you in terms of information or support regarding Parkinson's, or Sequoia, if anyone was interested in reaching out to you in terms of your digital media, can you both give your contact information?
Sure.
Yeah.
My email is joniolowe, that's JONIOLOWE @gmail.com.
And I would love to hear from anyone about anything. My email address is sequoialowe@gmail.com. That's SEQUIALOWE @gmail.com.
Thank you both for coming on the show. Until next time, I'm Suze Shaner with Community Forum.